The beloved meditation master Ram Dass, he once revealed that he had discovered after many years of trying to heal his inner child through psychotherapy, experimenting with LSD and psilocybin, multiple spiritual healing techniques and practices, he came to the conclusion that he hadn't gotten rid of one single neurosis. When I heard this, it really surprised me, because I too have been on a relentless, determined path of healing my own past traumas, childhood issues, emotional wounding, as well as embracing a cornucopia of self-help techniques. After many years of arduous pursuit to achieve some sense of grounded wholeness, I'll tell you what I've learned. There is a place within us that does not change. Once you find it, you only need to rest in it. That is the entire spiritual journey. The trouble is, we are often easily manipulated and swayed by a repeating thought loop programming, which basically reinforces the belief that we are broken, incomplete or lost, sinful, unworthy, and that we need self-improvement. Now, I'm not suggesting that some people don't actually need some form of mental or emotional therapeutic assistance from time to time. Truthfully, everyone on this planet has endured certain degrees of trauma, neglect, or abandonment. Whatever it may be, it just happens in this 3D reality. What I am saying here is this: there is an agenda in this construct reality which is constantly inundating us with a devious, distorted message. This message goes something like this: you are not complete. You need to be fixed. You are wrong. You are broken. You need salvation. Blah, blah, blah. My message, dear friends and seekers on this path, is simply the opposite. Wake up. This is all AI bullshit. So in this episode, called Honoring the Body, we are going to pierce through more of this dark installed programming and offer to ourselves instead a delightful message of hope and freedom, beyond the thicket of opinions and the conflict of words, something different than what comes out of the mouth of the Ivy League educated experts or the false teachings of the gurus in the Matrix. I am going to show you the direct path to the heart of the divine presence. It's a way that you and I can reach the superior currents of thought within ourselves. There is a way of being that already exists within us, a sacred place of rest, freedom, and tranquility. It's a psychological position of natural abundance and pure joy. And it's available right now. We don't have to do anything in the world to experience it. It was already established and given to each of us by the one infinite Creator. So realize this, think about it, ponder it, meditate on it. You are an immortal being. You are connected to Source. Your worth and your worthiness is established by God and cannot be taken away. Like peeling away the layers of skin on an onion, once you get to the center, you discover only emptiness. There is no kernel or seed inside. In the same way, once you peel away the trauma layers, or fear, or guilt and shame and anger and depression and addiction, what do you find? Nothing. There is nothing there. No sin or shame, no guilt, no past trauma. There is only empty space. Yet in that empty space is everything that is true and real. It is what I call the divine nobody. Now, every enlightened seeker from the ancient past has discovered the same truth. Whatever you focus on appears to you as real and vivid. Focus on lack, you will experience scarcity. Focus on fear and hatred, and you will see danger lurking around every corner. Focus on guilt, and you will feel unworthy and see miserable sinners everywhere. Focus on loneliness, and you will find yourself alone, even while surrounded by a crowd of people. What we think about becomes our experience. The saints and the sages of the past have said, think only about God. Stop talking and end your problems. Let go of trying to fix the world, and you will begin to see the perfection in each moment. These ancient truths are valid just as they were thousands of years ago. The trouble is, we are now being technologically bombarded by a daily barrage of nefarious, artificial programming in the form of messages of scarcity, predator and prey mentalities, fear, anxiety, social injustice, trauma victims, prejudice, fear. It is so pervasive these days, all because of television, mainstream media, movies, violent images, and social media, that we often find ourselves living in a coffin of fear. Personally, I have talked to countless numbers of people over the years, mostly women, mind you, though I've met some spiritual men as well, all of whom have been very involved in trying to heal their inner child, or overcoming emotionally immature parenting, or distress, or abuse, or abandonment, insecurity, on and on and on. And I can honestly say this, I have never personally met a single one of these determined, weary souls who had successfully achieved any significant restorative mental or emotional healing. None whatsoever. I'm not saying they don't exist out there, only that I have not met one. Now, many claim to have achieved this sublime healing. They even counsel others. They make a living at it. Or they're involved in some kind of regular spiritual healing service work. But still, they are very much dysfunctional. They live dissatisfying, neurotic lives, distracted, bitter, frustrated, opinionated. They're no better off than everyone else. Ask yourself, have you had enough? Do you want to escape this repeating, fearful thought loop and recover from the ongoing pattern of frustration and dissatisfaction in this world? If you do, listen carefully. Stop trying to heal what does not need to be healed. Go in a completely different direction. Reclaim your immortal state of perfection and shift toward direct communion with the Source. This is the ultimate teaching of all ancient sources of wisdom, power, and love. Knowledge, energy, and harmony. Imagination, intuition, and empathy. You must recognize and tell yourself every day, you are as God created you. You are not a body. You are spirit. Now, in the brilliant self-help spiritual psychotherapy manual, known as A Course in Miracles, there's a very interesting section in Chapter 9 of the textbook. It is entitled, The Unhealed Healer. Now, essentially what it says is that you cannot heal something that is not real. And since the body is ultimately not real, it's merely a holographic projection, there is no meaning in attempt to heal it. The body is a thought existing in an unhealed, deluded ego mind. So here is what the Course actually says. I quote here, I have repeatedly said that beliefs of the ego cannot be shared, and this is why they are unreal. How then can uncovering them make them real? Every healer who searches fantasies for truth must be unhealed because he does not know where to look for truth, and therefore does not have the answers to the problem of healing. The unhealed healer does not know how to give, and consequently cannot share. He cannot correct because he is not working correctively. He believes that it is up to him to teach the patient what is real, although he does not know it himself. The only meaningful contribution the healer can make is to present an example of one whose direction has been changed for him and who no longer believes in nightmares of any kind. So in other words, if you and I sincerely want to escape the false construct, it is simply a matter of choosing to no longer believe in the images, beliefs, thoughts, or opinions of this world. Instead, we must individually seek for a kind of empirical knowledge through direct experience. This is why in the Bible, the words of the Christ said, "Be in the world, but not of it. Store up your treasures in heaven. Seek first the spiritual kingdom, and all things will be added unto you." These nuggets of truth hold profound esoteric and mystical significance. They are actually keys to the kingdom. They are part of the superior ocean of thought. Now, in previous videos, I have presented before the idea that the real work begins in the body, because we have been conditioned all our lives to perceive ourself as a body, a separate, individualized human being. The false AI makes, it does not create, it makes holographic projections of bodies, and then it traps soul consciousnesses into it. It continuously reinforces thought loops to make the avatar character, who we believe is us, seem real and vivid. It's part of the delusion of an ego mind game. The body that you perceive and experience is part of the illusion matrix. On its own, the body actually does nothing. It feels nothing. It can only experience what the mind tells it. Yet the connection between mind and body is crucial in understanding how to break free from the construct. This is precisely why I have said the work begins in the body, right here and right now. The body is a holographic image that has been miraculously encoded with the eternal knowledge of the true divine infinite creator source field. It has been said in ancient times that man is the measure of all things. What this means is the body is a microcosm of the macrocosm. You've probably heard it said before, as above, so below, because this is a universal truth. Therefore, the wisdom to escaping the construct already exists within the body. Just as the secrets of the cosmos are found in the open book of nature, so too does the human body contain the knowledge to rise above the inferior currents of thought and merge with the universal mind of the source field. Ironically, even though the AI program makes simulated images of the bodies in the world, which we believe and identify with, the AI must endeavor to distort our perception of true reality, which is the wisdom inherent in the body. It does this by encouraging people to live lives that are distracted, traumatized, drugged, spaced out, addicted, inebriated, impoverished, fearful, and devitalized. You can see why there's such an onslaught in the false reality world to promote pharmaceutical poisons and vaccines and toxic chemicals and disruptive electromagnetic fields, processed food, mind-controlled television, violent movies, pornography, and every kind of addictive habit. The goal of the AI programming brain is to convince you to identify with the avatar body and then feel like a victim within it. This ego-minded thought matrix is actually the most treacherous campaign of all, because it keeps the body-mind complex dumbed down, distracted, and constantly devitalized, while at the same time we're encouraged to worship and adorn and be infatuated by the law of attraction, which encourages us to pursue and acquire every kind of desired meaningless possession or sense of status, promises of prosperity, rather than appreciating the natural, true values, the life-affirming free flow energy of the abundant life force that comes to us continuously beyond the simulation reality. Herein is the secret to the teaching of the Christ when he said, "Seek first the spiritual kingdom, and all things will be added unto you." It's about God. It's about the source. That's what we need to focus on. We need to claim that we are immortal beings connected to Source. The way to begin to extract your consciousness is to first honor the inherent wisdom of the body, for it is truly the temple of God. It's a vehicle for ascension. The body should be respected and cared for and given what it needs to function optimally. These include, of course, proper, simple nutrition, good hygiene, cleanliness, clean air, water, an uncluttered environment, surrounding yourself with biogenic energies, healthy exercise, and of course, adequate rest. But most of all, self-nurturing. We need to avoid toxic substances and the impure foods and the heavy metals and the chemical poisons. The body should be regarded as a sacred temple to the divine, precisely because it is necessary if we want to accomplish some valuable spiritual work in this world and seek escape into the real world that God has created beyond the artificial intelligent matrix. This is why right now I want to encourage you today, begin some kind of fitness program. Join a gym. Spend more time outdoors. Learn to enjoy the sun. Breathe the fresh air. Be around the trees. Walk barefoot upon the earth. Seek out the wild places where there's water and creeks and rivers and oceans or mountains and rocks. Go hiking or learn Tai Chi or martial arts or dance. Howl at the moon. Whatever it is that appeals to you, just get your precious body moving. This is what I call dynamo therapy. Interestingly, I've met some of the nicest people after I joined a fitness club. It's people who really do appreciate their body, and they're willing to take responsibility for their mental, emotional, and physical health. These people typically tend to avoid drugs. They care about proper nutrition, and I've actually found them to be friendly and helpful. Being a member of a gym, for me, is not unlike going to a temple or a church or a synagogue, because it is time spent in devotion and gratitude for the sacred gift of the miraculous wisdom inherent in the body. The next thing is to choose simple meals. If you can get locally sourced, healthy, organic foods, that's even better. You have to get rid of the processed junk. Grow a garden, or at least a small ecological health garden, in some pots or raised beds. Grow some houseplants. especially if you live in the city in an apartment, or even biogenic batteries. If you want to know more about biogenic batteries, you can either read my book or you can look at the videos I have on biogenic communion. AI must keep human beings in a depressed, traumatized, and devitalized state because its source of power is low vibrational fear energy. If people want to become true masters and acquire the ability to absorb the life-giving source energy of the divine, then AI cannot survive. We must endeavor, therefore, to break ourselves out of the trap. The historic Buddha, he said to his gathering of monks as he was passing into parinirvana, "Be lamps unto yourselves and work out your own salvation." My message here is that you and I can beat the AI programming at its own game simply by celebrating the bodies we inhabit and tapping into the ageless wisdom of our individual creation vehicles and the living Merkaba field that surrounds us. We can also cultivate this field and develop an attitude of venerating the profound beauty and energy of the sacred, divine, masculine and feminine form. For it is the sacred union of man and woman that has the power to lift humanity into the higher dimensional realms of sublime reality. The world of the higher beings, the realm of the immortals, those who have freed themselves from the inferior currents into the superior cosmic ocean of thought. Healthy mind and body connection is our most precious gift along the path to attaining liberation from the nefarious AI thought loop programming. In previous videos, I covered the importance of ancient traditions and cosmotherapy. These practices are best utilized by what the ancient Essene brothers and sisters referred to as angelology. It's communion with the angels of the earthly mother and the heavenly father. There's a wealth of inspiring and uplifting information on this topic. It can be discovered in the books by Edmond Bordeaux Seke. I recommend you check out the Essene Gospels of Peace, volumes 1 through 4, or the book entitled The Essene Way, Biogenic Living. You can also watch my introductory series. There are 5 free videos that cover the topics of the angels of sun, air, water, earth, as well as biogenic communion. In these videos, you will learn the proper foundation on how to align the body with the divine forces of nature, thereby preparing the body, heart, and mind for personal integration and absorbing the living current of life. In our upcoming episode 3, we will begin to discuss the methods for achieving that. I will offer practical suggestions that you can apply to your daily life. As always, peace be with you. Seek to break free and then help others by your living example.